please.
Okay, so it's the 13th of February, and we're doing a patch rundown into a tier list. I will do the tier list for all champions in their main roles later, but more to that later. Some mid patch updates. These aren't actually the up-to-date ones because the Aurelion Soul and Annie nerfs still aren't in this, but we'll just go through what we have here. So for nerfs, which Annie shouldn't be under nerfs, that's probably a bug. Amumu, Kassadin, K'Sante, Zac, and for buffs we have Braum, Alistar, Jarvan, Kayle, Kayn, LeBlanc, Nautilus, Pyke, Rakan, Thresh, and Trundle, and Aurelion Soul Goddess update. System changes, we have Overheal getting buffed, I'm pretty sure, Radiant Virtue being changed, Tenacity adjustments, which I haven't read, and then Umbral Glaive got changed for ranged champions. So let's see what Riot Games has to say about Aurelion Soul. So Aurelion Soul CGU is here. We hope you enjoy his stellar scaling, new improved abilities, and absolutely breathtaking ultimate. Passive Cosmic Creator. Aurelion Soul's damaging abilities break down enemies into stardust, which improves his abilities. Q, Breath of Light. Q Burst deals an additional 0.013% Stardust stacks, percentage maximum health magic damage. W increases travel distance based on Stardust stacks. E increases area and execute threshold, and then ultimate increases the area. So basically he just gets stacks from damaging people with Q and E, and gets extra max health damage, gets extra distance with W, increased area on both E and ult, and then some extra damage on E as well. Any questions? Or any comments? Oh, okay. Breath of Light, his new Q. Mana cost scales from 45 to 65 mana per second. Cooldown is 3 seconds. Aurelion Soul breathes Starfire up to 3 seconds, scaling up to infinity. Dealing 15, scaling to 55, plus 30, scaling to 90 with level. Okay, interesting. So it has a separate scaling on it. Plus 60% AP magic damage per second. That seems like it's a little bit too much. To the first enemy hit, and 50% damage to surrounding enemies. With every full second of breath on the same enemy deals a burst of 40 scaling to 80 plus 20 scaling to 40 scaling with level, with plus 50% AP ratio. So that's already a shit ton of AP ratios in one ability. Let's see. If this ability's range is 750 to 920 scaling with level, percentage damage deals a max of 300 magic damage to jungle camp. What does that even mean? Wait, so max health damage and absorbs 1 stardust when they hit a champion. So if you hold on one champion for 1 second, you gain 1 stardust stack. Yes?
Yeah.
What did you say, Kalon?
Like the last sentence.
Last sentence. The abilities. This ability's range is 75 scaling. Okay, it just gives you the range. Okay, I thought it was if it is at that range. Okay. Percentage damage deals 300 magic damage per second on monsters at max. Okay. W, his old E. Mana cost 80 to 100. Cooldown 22, scaling down to 16. It just flies away, blah blah blah. It's flat damage. Wait, why does it have flat damage? While flying, Breath of Light has no cooldown, no maximum channel duration, and its flat damage is increased by 14, scaling up to 20%. Takedowns on champions within 3 seconds of damaging them refunds 90% of the ability's cooldown. Casting Breath of Light while flying reduces flight speed by 50%. Flight speed is 350 plus, or 335 plus 100% movement speed. Okay, so there's so much overloading in this kit already. Okay, let's see. So he increases his damage while flying. Didn't know that. It has no cooldown while flying, so you can spam this ability while flying. Gotcha. And no maximum channel duration. What does that mean? It means that
You
the
can
channel
use all
duration
the
is...
abilities. You
Yeah,
can
but
use all
the
abilities
channel is
while on
based
the body.
on the length of how far you fly rather than a set amount of time, I would assume.
Yeah.
But it could mean multiple things. Singularity. Mana cost scales from 60 to 100. So pretty high mana costs overall. Cooldown doesn't really scale that well, so you might actually want to W max after E. You can look at the stats on Aurelion Sol after as well. But leveling this ability up doesn't really seem to do that much for cooldown. So you might want to just do W instead, because that reduces the cooldown by significantly more than the E. Anyways, so Aurelion Sol summons a black hole, dealing 10, scaling to 30, plus 40% ability power, magic damage, and dragging enemies towards the center for 5 seconds. So it's 50, scaling to... I'm assuming this is this the damage overall, or is this damage per second?
Second.
Are you sure? I mean, it doesn't say, but then again, I'm not surprised it doesn't say. Enemies at the center below. Enemies in the center below. 5 plus 2.5% of star of max dice. Okay, so if you're in the center, you have an execute threshold. Gotcha. Black hole absorbs stardust when enemies die within it. Each second an enemy is inside it. Okay, so each second somebody's inside the black hole, you gain stardust, and also every single second you damage someone with it. This ability's range is the same as the Q, scaling with level. Minions and jungle monsters inside have 0 movement speed. Interesting. This ability absorbs 1 stardust per second from champions. Stardust absorbs from units that die within the black hole. It is 10 for epic monsters, champions, and large monsters 5. So red buff, blue buff, big Krug, and so on is 5. 3 stardust for minions and small monsters. So you want to try to maximize your stardust by killing things within the E. Ultimate, flat 100 mana at all ranks. Cooldown scales down from 2 minutes to 100 seconds. Aurelion Sol plucks a star from the heavens and crashes it into the earth, dealing 150, scaling to 350, plus 65% magic damage and stunning enemies for 1.25 seconds, and absorbing 5 stardust per champion hit. Gathering 75 stardust transforms the next ultimate into The Sky Descends. Aurelion Sol drags a constellation worth of fury down from the cosmos, dealing a little bit more. I'm trying to see if there's like a way. I think it's like 33% more. Might be less. Probably is a little bit less, but anyways, 178.5 scaling to 437.5 plus 85% AP ratio in a larger area, knocking enemies up for the same duration as stuns, so you can't get tenacity towards it, and then increasing the shockwave, dealing the regular ultimate damage to everything else. I'm assuming if you get hit by the main thing, you won't get hit by the shockwave. That would be kind of busted. And slows all enemies for 75%. You can get hit by both?
Yes, if you like, what's it called? Like for example, you get hit by the ult itself, and you're like you buffer like a cousin, like ulti or whatever. Then
so if you're Cyan, for example, you get hit by the main thing, your ult
yes,
do
and
it,
then
you would hit.
and then you can still like go into the other parts.
How many times? Once or twice?
I think once.
Okay. Because like Maokai ulti, you can technically get hit by the same ultimate twice.
Yeah, you can hit by the ability itself and the shockwave. If you like go into the shockwave.
Now that we have that big part of the way, overloaded as fuck. Already got nerfed once, probably is gonna get nerfed again. It's pretty weak early game though, scales very heavily. Okay, Amumu. Q mana cost increased, E base damage decreased. We've adjusted Amumu at the end of last season, so the sad Momi could find some friends with the new jungle companions. However, he seems to have found a few too many friends, because having too many friends is bad in both jungle and support, so we're nerfing him in both roles. Mana cost 40 scaling to 60. Now is 45 scaling to 65. So it's a flat 5 on every rank. Not too impactful, but it might change support Amumu more than jungle Amumu. Meanwhile, the Tantrum will probably change the jungle Amumu more than support. Wait, why does it say decreased when this is increased? Riot Games, it says you've decreased the E damage, but what it
The
is?
early-
Decrease
the
on
early ranks.
Oh,
Yeah.
early ranks.
Early
Gotcha.
ranks.
Okay,
can
so
see
this is also for support. Gotcha. Okay. So for the first clear, you're gonna have slower thing. Thank you, whoever said the early ranks.
No problem.
So at level 3, level 4 actually is when it evens out, and level 5 it's a buff. So this is a nerf overall, but for jungle Amumu at level 9 it's a buff, but it's so minor that it's a nerf. Anyway, now to the S plus tier champion of the patch, Annie. That's already been hotfixed nerfed. I'm not sure if she's still S plus tier for now, but we'll see. Okay,
Is-
passive now fully charged on spawn. Each shield strength increased, cooldown decreased. Relation damage and conditions adjusted. Are Tibbers now skills with armor, health, and movement speed increase. Okay. What did you say, Kaleb?
Is she still like I still permaban her? Is it like still the angle or?
Not sure, but I would still think she's very strong. So I wouldn't say that it's bad that you're banning her, but she's not at the level of insanity that she was.
Then what's like a better ban for mid lane?
Depends on what you play.
Like Tryndamere and like Jasana,
Then you can probably just still ban Annie.
right?
Annie does well into both of those. Anyway, so
You
passive.
can even
So
play her, and it's more simple because it's easy to farm. It rewards you with giving back the mana because of the Q. You know, you create a lot of utility for your team, so it's kind of good to have it. If you don't like it at all, then yeah, ban it.
okay, so small change for Annie's passive. She now gains it when she respawns and at the start of the game. So this makes it so Annie is a pretty strong invade champion now. She can either flash W or just Q for a pretty sizable stun. Shield, Molten Shield. Shield strength scaling was from 40 to 220, which is now 60 to 220. And it has an increased AP ratio of 20%. I'm pretty sure they already nerfed this back, but this might have been the relation damage. Or they might have already adjusted it here. It's very hard to tell because I don't know what it was before. I'm pretty sure it might have been 60% AP changed down to 40. But anyway, cooldown from 12 or from 14 to 10 to 12 to 8. So 2-second cooldown buff from previous patches. And the relation damage has been nerfed, but the change is it only will do 1 per tick. So previously it would be 1 per auto attack. And also, I mean, we're about to read it, but right now it's like you can only take 1 chunk of damage from Annie. Different targets gain different, like you can hit multiple people with this, but back in the day you could get hit by this multiple times. Anyway, relation magic damage conditions. When a shield is active, enemies whose basic attacks hit the shield receive magic damage, has now done when the molten shield damage whose basic attacks and spells hit it. So previously only auto attacks would proc this damage, while now any ability will proc it, any spell rather will proc it, only once though. Relation magic damage details. Molten shield will now only inflict damage against opponents once per target per shield. Note, Tibbers duplicate shield counts as a new shield and will inflict damage once per target per shield. So you can hit the same target twice if they hit Tibbers and you with this damage. So you gain an extra 80% AP ratio of damage now, which back in the day, if you're playing something AP like Rise, you would never actually take any damage from the Annie. Okay, now some small Tibbers changes. They added an AP ratio onto Tibbers' health a slight AP ratio on armor and magic resist, and increased the movement speed of Tibbers by rank 2 and 3. So just small quality of life changes. This doesn't actually, what is it, equivalent? Like in-game, this is not going to be that much change from previously. Tibbers is just slightly more tanky. I do think that the movement speed is quite more impactful, especially if you're running stuff like Rylai's, where if the Tibbers gets onto you, you'll get slowed and take damage over time. But this change is the least impactful one. Well, I guess the passive is even less impactful, but the shield is the big difference and is what made her a lot stronger, because she usually was only strong into auto attack low range champions. Anyways, Jarvan. Jarvan base armor increased, W cooldown decreased, shield strength now scales with AD, and shield decrease. So base armor up by 2, not a big deal. Cooldown down by 1, and bonus AD ratio added onto W. Shield duration is down by 1 second though. So not the biggest of changes. I don't think it changes how Jarvan plays in general, but K'Sante nerfs, woohoo! Health growth decreased. Q knockup and stun duration decreased. So from 1 second to 0.65 knockup duration, and then also the stun duration is also decreased down to 1 second. So what this means is basically you can, like, tenacity is less necessary versus him now, but you should probably still prioritize getting some tenacity. Because before you would always get stunned for at least 1 second and then for almost another one with the actual stun. Now you'll get stunned for 0.65 seconds and then the stun will start running. Gives them a little bit more counterplay. Minimum stun duration from 0.35 to 0.75 to 0.3 scaling to 0.5. So basically the stun is not as impactful anymore from the W. And this all out gets a flat 20% bonus resistance nerf, which is kind of huge. Just makes him a little bit more squishier once he ults you, meaning that you might consider, instead of just being like, oh shit, he ulted, I need to probably disengage, to maybe I can one-shot him before he gets to lifesteal on me.
By the way, because this as like a separate thing, do you still go like second point ult as like level 11?
As what?
Tryndamere.
I sometimes do it. I still haven't figured out whether it's worth it or not. I would still level E most of the time, because unless you're into a matchup where your ultimate's necessary to be like, you need to use it off cooldown, like when your opponent has a similar ult cooldown and they're just gonna all in you once they get it, you can learn to just stay passive for another 10 seconds before having to use it. Unless you feel like you're using your ultimate off cooldown, I think still maxing out E second is the way.
Alright.
Kassadin, E base damage decreased from 80 to 180 to 60 to 180. So early game it's nerfed, and at max level it's back at the same. So it's nerfed by 20, then 15, then 10, then 5, and then 0. AP ratio stays the same. Cooldown from nearby casts from 1 second to 0.5 seconds. So every 4th ability cast will basically be refunded. So you would need 5 ability casts instead of 4 to get to 4 seconds. Pretty decent change. Rift Walk. Bonus damage per stack is down, and base damage is also down by 10 each rank. Is the ratio changed? The ratio is the same. So just base damage down by a little bit. And then bonus damage per stack is down by base of 5. So ultimate is down by a little bit, which is nice. Kayle. Passive exalted movement speed bonus from 8 to 10%, and on-hit passive is increased by 5% AP ratio. That's about it, I think. So AP ratio is up by a little bit. What is their argument for this? Kayle's been feeling less than angelic lately, so we're looking to grant some skill expression to make her stronger, especially in the in the hands of her mains. Okay, just a very minor buff. It's not really gonna impact anything except like the really good kill players. You get to kite a little bit easier with this extra movement speed buff, but it's not the whole world. And the extra 5% AP ratio is nice, but it's not gonna change that much. Kayn, what does it say? Passive Shadow Assassin damage increased, Q80 scaling increased. Okay. 13 to 40 to 50, so it's increased by 2%, scaling to 5%.
It's basically old blue Kayn passive. Like before the nerfs.
Okay, so they nerfed it and now they just like basically redid it. So Shadowkin hasn't been the terror of the shadow he once was, suffering partially hard in lower skill brackets. We're giving him a bit more AD scaling to support the arguably edgier version of Kayn without giving Ross too much power. Okay. Okay, so Q damage 75 to 55 to 75 to 55. Okay, so the bonus ratio is... Wait, so this will not affect Rost's damage as he has separate Q values. Gotcha. Okay, so this is purely for... so this is actually quite sizable, the bonus AD. So you'll be able to like maybe one-shot somebody a little bit easier. But considering AD carries are very tanky at the moment, I'm not sure this is enough to bring Kayn into a stronger point in the meta. LeBlanc, mana regeneration and regeneration growth increased. Q mana cost now flat at all ranks. Our cooldown decreased early. Okay, so basically just easier to manage mana, and her aura cooldown is down by 10 seconds at level 1, or at level 6, 5 seconds at level 11, and the same at level... Okay, so this is pretty nice. I'm not sure how much this really changes. I haven't played LeBlanc in a while, but this might change some roam timers for if you want to use your ultimate to just clear the wave to get out of the lane sooner, and then when you're back you have ult again. And then maybe you can like use it to trade onto your opponent. Not sure. Seems like just a nice quality of life change to LeBlanc. I would assume that this is more like, oh, look, pro players, LeBlanc is still a champion. Maybe you want to try her again. Same like this Lee Sin buff is about to be, but anyway. Lee Sin, Q Resonating Strike gets an extra 10% bonus AD buff on both. Damage is double the value of the minimum damage. Wait, maximum damage is still doubled of the value of the minimum damage. Okay, that's fine. E damage is decreased. Wait, that's total damage. E, 100 to 2. What are they doing? Wait, so E base damage decrease and slow. Oh, okay, I get it. So they're lowering the damage by a significant amount at early levels, and then they're increasing the slow. Yeah, I don't know what I think about these changes.
Jesus, 65 AD loss.
Yeah. So at level 1, he loses 65 damage. I think this might actually just be a nerf. This might actually just be a nerf.
I think he's 5 seconds slower in the jungle. All of a sudden.
Yeah. This makes it so you can't solo start Raptors because you would have to cast E 3 times to get back to similar damage as you had before.
Yeah.
So this damage is nuts. Why?
I mean,
Lee Sin is not doing that great in the meta right now. So
you're missing one thing. It scales from bonus AD now when it will scale from total AD, so it's...
Oh, okay, so the damage will go up by a little bit. Oh, wait, so the damage will be like basically the same then. Yeah, the damage will then basically be the same. Because you start...
Let me see how much he starts with.
Yeah, I was about to say, Lee Sin Wiki. We just see the base AD here. Because you're gonna get 0 bonus damage.
I'm betting like 60.
Yeah, something like that. Base damage 68, so it's actually a buff.
Oh, it's actually high.
Yeah, it's...
Wait, how can they say they lower the damage when it's actually higher?
They lowered the base damage, but since they made if I didn't see this, I would have said like they've like got at least in the early game. but it's actually like a buff by
3%.
yeah, it's a 3% buff at level 1, and then level 5, it's gonna be negligent at level 5, but let's see, 155.
What was his attack scaling?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You need to know that. So at
Ooh,
level 5, if you max C, it's 110 roughly.
yeah,
So
so
at
it actually is a
110,
buff.
yeah. Du behöver inte nya soffa.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant buff, but then again, Lee Sin is in a very weak state, so well, not that weak, but like he's not really as prevalent as he's been. But the slow change can be useful, but usually, I'm not sure what you max on Lee Sin. I would say usually max W second. So
I'm pretty sure you do W second. I think
yeah.
it's gonna change now though.
Yeah, it might change to
So-
E second. Yeah, W second.
Because
So
the E scaling doesn't start increasing the slow until 3rd level.
yeah, so E last is the highest 2 win rates. Maybe
Nice.
Lane Lee Sin might change this. That's the thing. That's the only thing I can see why this is like they changed Lane Lee Sin again. But for Jungle Lee Sin, I don't think this is as impactful as it looks. That it is total AD is nice, but I don't see what that actually does realistically.
I think it actually affects Lee Sin more because he can now go like Sterix.
Yeah, and also like since his base damage is like he's gonna have a higher level in the solo lane, especially top lane. I think this buff is impacting like a lot more in lane Lee Sin than it does for jungle Lee Sin. So that's something to keep in mind here. Because you don't really max Q as lane Lee Sin anyway. And since they buffed the ratios and not the base damage of Q, you don't actually need it. Anyway, Trundle QW decreased at all ranks, and he can now, the biggest buff of the patch, he can now dance scaling with his movement speed. So if you want to actually troll some people, just build full movement speed and you're gonna be really quick tap dancing.
I mean, that's the
With
most
Trundle.
important one in the
I mean,
change.
I am of the opinion that it took Riot way too long to fix this, but hey, it's here now, so we'll take it. So W decreased by 2 seconds auto ranks. I think this is a revert of previous nerfs. Let's see, Trundle has really felt like Troll Kings after various system nerfs and directly affecting him on top of the nerfs that actually directly affected him. So reverting, yeah, exactly. They're reverting some of the W nerfs they did previously. Okay, Zac. WAP scaling decrease, EAP scaling decreased. Okay, 30 to 95 stays the same. Down by 1% per 100 AP. Doesn't
Really
do too
significant.
much, but because like you're not really getting that much AP, you might lose like 2% damage on Zac in total, which considering he like overkills you most of the time, is not gonna feel that significant. But you might get to like live through one more W rotation if you're a tankier champion, so it's a welcome buff for especially like top Zac if you're playing against that. It's a welcoming buff. And then the E magic damage doesn't do anything. I don't think AP Zac is the problem. It's the more the Radiant Virtue and Demonic Zac that is a problem. But yeah, it's a boring nerf. I would rather see the reverse, that they keep the AP ratios but they nerf the base damage.
I think the total won't be even half a percentage win rate change for all of this.
Maybe
Was it?
because of Radiant Virtue, but
Well, that's gonna affect.
well,
but I mean,
not because of the direct
changes.
nerfs to
Yeah.
Zac. No. Okay, Radiant Virtue is currently overpowered, even if Picret isn't reflecting it. Yet its strength isn't really appreciated due to how unclear the item's best points are. Because when you buy a strong item, you should feel strong. We're making Radiant Virtue's upsides more apparent and impactful while removing some of the extra enormous power that has been pushing the item
Extraneous.
to. Don't care. Don't care. It's the same word. Different letters, okay? Same word.
No, it's not.
Shush. Shush. It's the same word. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. source. Trust me, bro. Anyways, we feel enchanters already have plenty of defensive tanks support options, while Radiant Virtue is meant for selfless tanks who have fewer. So we're trying Radiant Virtue's values more directly tied to the tanks, with the budget to acquire even more health. Okay, so they upped the cost by 200. They increased the passive by 60 to 90 seconds. So I actually think this is a buff for certain champions, while it's a nerf to others. So champions that have high ultimate cooldowns, this is a buff. Because that means that opponents that buy Radiant Virtue cannot proc this twice when you can only proc this once.
And on Karma, it's a nerf.
And on stuff like Karma, it's a nerf. So it's a very, very good change. I think this unironically looks like a big nerf, but actually helps a lot of the high cooldown tanks. Might nerf something like a Malphite that wants to like use his ultimate off cooldown, and if he buys enough CDR, it like brings his ultimate to like between 65 to like 75 seconds, where he like has that 15-second window where he can't use his ult to get the full value. But I still think that's a healthy spot where it needs to be. Okay, maximum health gained 10% to 15%. I thought there was 20% at one point, but I guess they decided 15%. Total healing, and rather than scaling, it's just a flat in the middle for 9 seconds, which is nice, meaning that you can use this whenever you want instead of trying to wait for your team to get lower to get more healing.
Still
Note
wish it was
includes
active,
healing.
but I can see why they didn't go that route.
I mean, the issue if you make it an active is that you get a lot of people rushing like Redemption as well, and then
Yeah.
doing the Ingenious Hunter.
Yeah.
I think it's like the main concern with that, because that item combination is already very strong, like Radiant Virtue into Redemption, because it amps the healing passive, so like the 20% Redemption gives you on top of that also is put into this. Okay, so but the most important change here, they removed the ability haste you and allies within 1200 units.
Your screen, basically.
Yeah, but like it's 1200 range, and you no longer gain the ability haste, which is huge. I don't know why he had this to begin with, but it's gone now, so that's something.
By the way, you see
Glaive
the
finally gets
difference?
nerfed. Yes. What is the difference?
By the way, you see difference when Freak writes patch notes, and when you look at Zach, it's somebody else. Oh no, Zach is also somebody Freak. Because Freak is somebody who writes like a paragraph of text. And then some other guy just sums it up as, nerf W.
Okay, so this simulation again.
Yeah,
So this
that's
is not Freak. Okay.
That's not Freak.
Interesting thing. Okay. Wait, what? We're hoping they can find success even without 300 APM kick. Whoever wrote this, bro, I appreciate that guy. Whoever wrote this, bro, that's funny. That's a good joke. Anyways, Umbral Glaive is currently too effective on choking out enemy visions for assassin supports and assassin support, and especially marksman supports for some reason.
I wonder. Like they say currently, you mean the last year?
Yeah, Ash has been like a terror with that item. But
I know. I average.
But this is a change that they should have done a long time ago. It's a healthy change, and it's very good. So what they do is, for ranged champions, it makes it so that it only deals 2 damage. So you would need to hit a normal ward twice as a ranged champion, and the control ward is also still twice. Meanwhile, for melees, it's 1 for a normal ward and 2 for a control ward. So it's unchanged for melees, which is very nice. And now the biggest Shaco buff in existence, trap interactions. I'm actually gonna screenshot this and send this to Magic real quick, because he's been complaining about.
Shaco hold up. What changed about Shaco?
No, so they nerfed Umbral Glaive so that you no longer will, if you have this item, you will not be like one-tapping boxes and traps from Teemo Shrooms, Deadly Shrooms, Shaco boxes, like all of those.
Yeah.
Are no longer getting one-tapped by Umbral Glaive.
I don't know if it was a bug, but anything spawned in a bush was also affected. Zyra plants, Hyma turrets.
Oh, so they counted as like wards if they were
Because
placed in
you
a
know,
bush.
riot coding.
If it's invisible and it has a small health bar, it's a ward, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it counted for the trap interaction, so I guess this is gone now.
Okay, overheal. One of the most overseen changes for this patch. I think AD carries should a lot more look at this and feel like maybe they should take this because it's a very strong rune into the right situations. Anyway, so
Fiora is good. If you go Fleetfoot, by the way, and you can go AD carry build, and you can 1v9, because you will have 1 second Q with Navori. And you will have
okay, so we have the shield value going from 10 plus 9% max health to 20 to 300 based on champion level. This is a buff from level 5 onwards. For who?
Yeah, for who? I think it's not
who?
a buff for Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
about to say, like, for tankier champions, this is a nerf. But then again, this is mainly targeted towards AD carries anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they've, like, taken the base health of most AD carries and then been like, yep, okay. Unless you're going, like, tank Cho'Gath, or not tank Cho'Gath, tank Kog'Maw, or maybe tank Vayne or something like that. This will always be a buff. And the time where you would now take overheal is when you're planning on building squishy anyway, rather than you could maybe do something funny building tanky and then getting more shield for it.
But
Yeah, I
it's
mean-
even good with BT. If you think about BT shielding with overheal, it's an extra shield.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like,
I mean,
this is a
it-
very
the-
undervalued buff that should be considered by
The
a lot more
idea
AD carries.
behind that rune has always been fucking lethal bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Wait, you missed that
It's
one
really
bit in
good
the
special.
middle. Melee support
Yeah.
adjustments. What is that?
Overkill is really good especially
Oh,
like
the-
champions that can go first 2 items bloodthirster. So like MF, it's really good.
right now in solo queue meta, it's 2-to-1 range supports, which is fine, but in pro meta, it's more like 20-to-1, meaning that in every 20th game, you will see a melee support. League is at its best when there's a wide variety of champions to play and watch, so we're buffing some melee supports to create some more variety in bot lane. We're committed to keeping an eye on gameplay health for everyone in the game long term, so if we go too hard or too soft here, we will follow up as needed. So,
Experimental changes.
Oh,
Time to
another top
upgrade.
laner. Yay, thank you.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay, self heal. Rather than scaling on level, it's just flat out max health. Which again,
That's
not really a buff for support Alistar, mainly for lane
yeah,
Alistar.
that's a top laner buff. Holy
Same
shit.
thing for the other ones. So yeah, this is mainly top lane Alistar.
Wait. 6% of Alistar's maximum health.
Yeah.
Oh dear, time to go Radiant top Alistar.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why
Warthog.
Alistar top is pretty strong at the moment.
All
Follow
hearts,
up.
I just
all
played
hearts
with
steal for extra funny.
Yeah.
I just had it last game. He went Rod of Ages. It was useless.
Okay, mana cost 50 to 75 to, or 55 to 75
Insignificant.
to 50 to 70. So it's 5 off per usage, pretty insignificant. Here is where the non-significant part. So its AP ratio is
Oh.
buffed by 20. Very nice. Same thing with W. Base damage is the same, but scaling is up by 20%.
Actually, on W rank 1, it's a big mana, and the rank 2
Wait,
Yeah,
they
mana
reduced the
changes
mana
is-
cost.
by
is reduced.
15.
Yeah, it's reduced by 15 at all ranks, which is a lot more significant than the Q change. Because
doesn't
again,
really
you're
mean
usually
that, no.
combining the two, unless you're laning for this for lane Alistar, which is again probably why they didn't buff it too badly. Well, this is more for support Alistar.
Jesus, the
That doesn't
trample.
really mean
Oh,
anything.
Jesus.
Alistar should never even have mana problems.
Oh,
So actually,
Okay,
Jesus.
I
mana
think that's just a
cost
placebo.
decreased by 20 at rank 5, 5 at rank 2, 10 at rank 3, 15 at rank 4. Total damage is base damage unchanged, AP damage increased by 30%. Okay, so this is
Let's enjoy your top
huge.
lane.
Yeah,
Enjoy
man.
it.
Yeah, no, I've played it. It's very fun actually.
Oh, it's gonna be way more fun now.
Yeah. I played it after the changes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
And one-shotting the AD carry. If I remember, yeah?
Target immunity duration
That was me.
4 scaling down, 8 scaling down to 4 based on levels. Now has decreased levels. So let's see here. 8 scaling to 4 on levels 1, 6, and 11. So you get it
Yeah,
1
that's a
level
fair
sooner
change.
at level 6 and 2 levels at later ranks. So at level 11, Braum gets a big power spike, which he would normally get at
Yeah.
level 13, which is actually pretty significant considering most supports actually cap out at level 11, and then it takes a while for them to get to any
Yeah.
level beyond that. So I do think that this is a very significant buff. Q, early game, reduced by 2 seconds, and then at max level it's the
big.
same.
That's
It's
big.
pretty nice for laning. Not really gonna change too much, but it gives him more poke and all-in options. So very
Why
nice and
W
welcome
max
change.
possible? Question mark.
W chain, yeah, W max might actually be it because you already get rank 3
Yeah.
Q cooldown for Braum at early levels. Bonus magic damage scaling from 10 to 26, now 20 to 40. Oh my, that's a big buff at level 1. You don't even need to W max at this point. You almost have the maxed out W at level 1 now.
Mm.
Okay,
You
passive from
literally put 2
Nautilus.
points and you're maxed out.
Bonus damage 8 to 110 now is 14 to 116. So level 1, pretty decent damage change. At level 18, pretty much negligent. You won't feel this.
It's one ranged minion attack.
Yeah, so it doesn't do anything realistically after level 1. You won't feel it, but level 1, it's almost double the damage, so you can consider that, but it's still very insignificant. Okay, shield mana cost from 80 to 60, very huge for lane Nautilus.
Yeah.
For support Nautilus, not so much, because again,
Yeah.
you're usually gonna all in once, maybe twice, but this might lead it so that you will use it more to just like tank some poke, and then you can be more durable in lane.
Wait,
Strength shield, 40 to 80, now 50 to 90, so 10 at all ranks. The scaling is
The
unchanged.
Riptide though. The Riptide.
AP damage is increased by 20%, and it increases
20,
by 5 after level 1. So it's 5, 10, 15, and 20 damage extra per E upgrade. So E second might be more considerate if you're far ahead, and you might want to build something like Demonic on support Alistar or Alistar Nautilus. And if you want to go jungle Nautilus or mid lane Nautilus or top lane Nautilus, these are some pretty decent changes.
Farming's good.
So. Pike, Phantom Undertow gets a base damage increase from 10, 20,
Plus 10 per level.
30, and 40. So 40 extra damage. Not gonna change anything. Might look big, but it's really not. If this was on Q instead, this would be huge, the damage. But you realistically are not gonna use the E for damage in most cases. And at level 13, an extra 40 damage isn't changing much. It's a nice quality of life change though, but very insignificant.
Q maxing Rakan incoming.
Rakan, 1 cooldown off per level, mana cost down by 15 per cast. This is huge. I can't stress how huge this is for support Rakan actually. So Rakan usually has the issue of not being able to keep up with poke in enchanter matchups. And so being able to actually significantly poke your opponent with cheaper mana costs and lower cooldown, and I'm assuming also the base damage, or I don't know, the base damage is the same, but the base heal is changed. So you might do something like a Spell Thief's Edge now on Rakan and look to like try to keep up with the poke and healing from the enchanters he's playing against. So let's see, a base heal 30 to 110 to 40 to 220. So it's almost doubled healing at later levels. That's very nice. doesn't actually scale from the abilities level, so you'll always get the extra
Yeah.
healing anyway. So yeah, Rakan very much buff in poke lanes. Meanwhile, in all in lanes, doesn't change too much because you're mostly gonna use this once and maybe twice in an all in. Meanwhile, in a poke lane, this is gonna equivalent to more like 6 and 7 Qs. Grand Entrance, W base damage decreased while AP ratios increased. I think, what's his name? LS did an analyst of this and said that this will be a nerf up until you have around 200 AP. So, not the biggest of things, but
Not really. You can just calculate it.
yeah, it's 200 because it's 10% buff, so you would need
Yeah.
200 AP to get to 20 damage.
Yeah.
At rank 5, that is. Earlier, you would need less.
Yeah,
but-
frank.
But we're gonna assume that if you're doing AP Rakan, you're gonna be maxing W anyway.
Well, yeah, if you're doing AP, then yeah.
Anyways, Thresh, the big boy Thresh, finally getting some buffs here. Okay, so damage is up by 20 at rank 5, 15 at rank 4, so it scales from 0 to 5, 10, 15, and 20 damage. The AP scaling is up by 30%. Holy moly! Note, Thresh's AP ratio can be interpreted as 0.8 damage per soul unless you're going AP Thresh, but you do you, friend. So yeah, no, I actually unironically think going one AP item or something like an Ardent Sensor on Thresh might not be such a bad buy if you need some
Yeah.
extra burst.
Zonias.
Yeah,
would
even
be-
Zhonya's, yeah. So like it gives a lot more flexibility to Thresh builds without punishing the AP bit of the whole thing. W shield per soul is nerfed by 0.5, which again, not the biggest of deals. Early game doesn't really do much. Maybe it's like a 20 damage shield, but you're never realistically gonna eat up an entire, like the entire shield is almost never getting used, so I don't see this being a big problem. Okay, Flay is up by, it's supposed to be 20%, it's supposed to be 60% AP. I think they changed that in the bug fixes here. So the original change listed below did not include the AP ratio. So there you go. Here you got the AP ratio changed. Base damage is the same. So probably a Qmax is, if you're going AP Thresh, definitely the way because of the extra base damage that you get. Meanwhile, on Flay, you keep the scaling, but the base damage is not changed at all. Okay,
So three
let's see
changes.
here. So what happened to Tenacity here? I have not read this, so we'll see what happened. Over the
Died.
years, Tenacity sources have increased dramatically. We want to streamline how these effects interact with each other as clean up an old system and provide some clarity on which system will stack and which will not. Those changes are almost all Tenacity effects will stack multiplicatively, net weaker together, as opposed to previous systems where various systems sometimes stacked extremely well to nullify crowd control. Okay. Tenacity sources will be within the same group will stack multiplicatively with each other. Tenacity sources from separate groups will stack additively with each other. Okay, let's go. What do we got
This
here?
is not clear. This will
No,
be on the test, guys. This will be on the test.
This will be on the okay, so Merc Threats, Anathema's Change, Elixir of Iron, Iceborne Gauntlet, Legend Tenacity, Unflinching. All of those work worse together. But the this is a huge Silvermere Dawn buff actually. Unironically is a huge Silvermere Dawn buff because this means that the after effect of Silvermere Dawn, so I think it's like 30%. Can't spell, but that's fine. So Silvermere Dawn, yeah, exactly. So for 3 seconds, you gain 50% tenacity, and that's going to be additive. So let's say you multiplicatively get up to 0.5 with previous things like Unflinching, Legend Tenacity, and Merc Threats. You get to 50%. If you have Silvermere Dawn as well and you use it, you'll be immune to CC. Immune to CC for 3 seconds. you'll have 100% tenacity for 3 seconds. If this actually works the way as it's said here. If it
It's all-
actually works, but
Probably it won't.
I mean,
It's working.
I mean, it's also Garen with Sylvania Dawn is 100%.
Garen W is
it's-
not put in here actually.
It is in
It
group
is.
C.
Oh,
There-
I thought I
and
read
Bryce
Gwen.
love
Bro,
open with the-
I'm stupid. I read Gwen here. I was like, why is Gwen W in here? But that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
But isn't it coded in a way that the minimum amount of CC that you can take it's like 0.3 or 0.5 seconds?
Yeah, something like that. But I'm not sure if that works if you have 100% tenacity.
Yes, probably it works because then it's
It
gonna be like
probably will.
boosted.
Yeah, it will be like 0.5. But imagine every single CC that hits you will only last 0.5 seconds.
But it's still
For
enough
3
to like.
seconds.
I think
It's like a chance to kill you.
I think it won't affect the suppressions though. at
It
all.
doesn't say if anything else has changed, but it's very nice for Silvermere Dawn. I think
It is.
it's a very good change for that. Okay, jungle adjustments. Do I really want to go through those?
Yes.
It's
Do I
shit.
really
Yes,
want to
you
go
wanna
through?
go. You wanna go for that because we will have a PowerPoint for it. Do not forget.
Fine, okay. Gold per
Oh,
treat, scaling down from 30 now 20 extra. Experience per jungle camp with a companion experience. For clearing a jungle camp has been increased by 5 XP per camp.
Doesn't change the game that much, unfortunately.
Probably not, no. Okay, what else do we have? Stealth ward trinket cooldown is down by 30 at rank 1. Pretty big. You'll be able to get, I'm pretty sure, 2 wards down before the first gank from a full clearing jungler should arrive. But I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure you get another ward at a better time now at the start. So that's
yeah.
something.
Second ward timing has always been shit.
Yeah, but I
Mhm.
think this might actually fix it. So
Yeah, it
ganking
has
issues.
consistently always been shit.
As a reminder, turret shots ramp up at 40% shot per same target. We have 20 damage extra. Okay, this is depressing for top lane, but that's fine.
No top
So
and mid as well.
Trying to
Most-
dive someone now carries a little bit more risk. It's more annoying to calculate tower shot damage. Yeah, this is gonna make some people pissed and some people happy because the times where you'd survive at like between 20 and like 30 damage, you would now die 100%. Even
I
up
feel like
even up to
Yeah.
50 damage because this is third shot per one shot damage. But that stacks up 3 times. So the damage, like let's say it's like increased 20 at level 1, it's actually 20 and then it's gonna be 25 or even 28 or something like that, and then it's going to be like 36. So in total you take like 80 more damage from 3 turret shots now at level 1.
If you wanna calculate that, you can just press on your tower and see the damage. Or
can
press
press
on
on
the
the tower.
enemy tower. Just left click it and just check it out. Then you decide.
Clash
Most of the cases you
updates
go YOLO.
mid-February, competitive and blind pick and normal pick, surrender votes 4 out of 5. It will be available at 15 minutes and at 20 minutes it's normal. The MMR duo restrictions for Apex ranks has now been re-enabled. So you're telling me that people could accidentally like do a Q in Masters? Perfect, thank you, Riot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah,
it's-
I have people with, I have gold players in my Masters games like almost all the time actually. So yeah,
Yeah, it's normal for early season for them to do that. I don't know why. It never made sense to me.
made matchmaking adjustments for faster blind pick queue times. That scares me. Why aren't they telling us what they did, or is it so embarrassing that they fucked up with something and then they fixed it now?
I mean, it's
Behavioral
normal.
systems.
It's normal blind pick. Literally nobody plays it.
Yeah, except when you level an account. Behavioral systems. Remove the
No,
warnings
you
of
play-
practice tools saying you're staying. I mean, that's like toxicity is gone now, guys. We've done it. Riot Games has finally done it.
Toxicity destroy.
Behavioral systems has fixed it all. You no longer are gonna get reported in practice tool. Congratulations.
Riot Thanos snapped and day cool doesn't exist. Toxicity gone.
Are you sure?
Okay, let's see here. Jax midscope update. We're shipping a few changes that have been intended to make. So animation changes for Jax. Why isn't he been nerfed? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Riot Games, what are you doing?
No, he's totally bounced. What do you mean?
Champs like pick order swapping is no longer interrupted between the declaration and banning phases. Role and text filters now persist between champions and champion phases. Required pick order and champion swapping. Wait. So retired pick order and champion swapping tutorial tooltips. Quality of life. You can right click on player in your party to view profile in the pre-match lobby. Pretty nice, thank you. Rune recommendations now properly positions the toggles for summoner spell to be included with a recommended page. Thank you.
Wait. That right click on players in your party. Wanna have a bet that it works in ranked somehow?
That it doesn't work in ranked, or that it does
No,
work in
that it
ranked?
does work in ranked somehow. Somebody will figure it out within a day.
Oh, you mean? Oh, that's what I mean. No, but this is pre-match lobby. This is when you're in queue.
Yep.
This is not in Champions
Oh,
Select.
pre-match lobby, right?
Yeah. I was like, what? Did I miss something? No, you can't just OP.GG somebody by right-clicking them. That's not
I
what
mean,
they're trying to
you
say.
can,
Insane,
you can
man.
with a plugin.
Yeah, in the normal games. Okay, bug fixes. These are all irrelevant because half the bugs are still out there. Bro, is this the amount of bugs that they have to do per patch? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Every patch introduces bugs.
Okay,
That's just the
Spaghetti
nature of it.
fixes a bug caused to Azir's R to not hit enemies if he was casting it as he died. Okay. Fixed an interaction with Orianna's R would not correctly follow enemies that were dashing. Oh, nice.
But
Thank you,
by
Riot
the
Games.
way, that Azir R bug, I spoke to an Azir main recently. That bug hasn't been in the game for 4 years.
Has not been in the game or has been?
It has been in the game for 4 years. They fixed it now.
Beautiful. Fixed interaction. So this is actually a pretty big one that a lot of Senna players should be made aware of. You can now flash W on Senna.
I saw Vanderil's video.
Yep. It's a very significant one.
It is.
Okay, fix the bug where Callisto's W would sometimes not go into the intended direction. Wow. Okay, anyways, let's go to this side of the tier list side of...
Besök en ny stad.
Okay, so I will mention before we do this, we will rank all champions, but only in their most popular role. So I will just take all champions. I can't be bothered like just being like, okay, so is this a top layer champion? No, I'm just doing it. All champions in their most
just get
popular
that
role.
Jackson, put him in S.
No, Jax is in Z tier. Anyways, okay, Aatrox.
See,
I will mention this tier list is going to be between Iron and Diamond. So Aatrox, C, someone said?
yeah, me.
I think if you build him correctly, he's B tier, which is like not a lifesteal build, but since nobody knows how to build Black Cleaver into Frostfire, he's C tier.
Yeah.
Ahri, ARS tier, what do you guys think?
A.
A tier.
I don't see him in S.
A.
S.
F.
Still S, in my opinion.
He sounds what the fuck.
Alistar S.
Alistar is C.
S tier after the changes.
Alistar is Z tier.
I mean, this is Alistar support, though. You gotta think about that. It's Alistar
Yeah.
support.
Z
Wait,
tier.
you didn't say you're gonna say lane. Come on, man.
What do you mean? I said most popular lane.
So Amumu, where do we put him? Support or jungle?
S.
Well, I mean, it's a very easy thing to figure out, isn't it? So, u.gg. Mumu. Jungle, pick rate, and plat plus 5%. Support 4.3. Let's do all ranks.
Wait, 5% pick rate, what does that even mean?
It's on the
Super
platinum.
effect.
And where you
And
picked,
Platus,
yeah, there.
Let me look on a good site. Just give me a
4.1.
second.
Pick rates doubled in jungle, so we do jungle and Mumu.
Okay.
Yeah, jungle is up.
Let's say A tier.
It's 50-50 in diamond actually, but in lower elos, jungle is more popular.
Anivia, I would put her Z tier, actually.
Yeah, I'm
Aphelios
fine.
F. Aphelios F.
Aphelios,
F. F.
Yeah, F
E
tier.
tier. No, F tier is like the worst champion of the patch, and I don't
B
think
or
Aphelios
E?
is that.
Which
He
is
is.
Aurelion Sol, by the way.
Let's see here. Do you think Aurelion Sol is the worst champion of the patch?
Pretty sure he is.
Support has definitely higher pick rate than ADC Ashe, so I guess we're gonna have to rank Ashe based on her support performance.
B.
B? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mean Ash is a support champ?
Put him F tier. Who cares about scaling?
Okay, sorry. Yumi is the worst of the patch, but you know.
Exactly. Wait, where do we have Yumi?
Yumi is not even a champion. We don't count that one.
There you go.
What the fucking cut?
What do you mean? On jungle, she is broken.
Bard is Z tier.
No, A, high A.
Tier.
No, we'll put him S for now.
Velvet Z.
But hey, Riot finally managed. Yumi ban rate is down significantly.
Still fucking imbecile. Parasite champion.
You guys
Kill
have
it.
any like objections
S,
with these
she's a-
placements?
she's a-
Just let me know.
Call an
let-
A tier, Camille.
B.
A
Let
tier.
me just put this in the classroom
Axio
chat
A
for
or
everyone
S,
to enjoy.
actually.
Yeah,
Wait,
but this is from at most diamond, right? So
Yeah. My bad.
There
this
you
is from
go.
iron to diamond, and like obviously some of these can like fluctuate in between ranks. Like a good Akali, yeah, it can be S tier, but we're
Okay.
taking the average from an iron player up to a diamond player. So like you're basically rolling a dice, and then there's like gonna be like, oh, it's a gold Akali. Well, C tier.
Rip.
Whoopsie daisy.
Still good on
A
lower.
tier. Cho'Gath is A tier.
Joystick boy, A tier, high A. Always high A.
Quirky, just I guess you can stick with Aurelion Sol with scaling.
Darius F.
Darius S tier. Diana.
Is Diana jungle or Diana mid lane?
Diana jungle.
Jungle?
I haven't seen a mid lane Diana in forever.
Jungle or Mondo top? That's the question mark.
Careful what you pick now.
Mundo top.
Careful what you pick now. Nah, bro.
Was
Z, Z.
Dayquil gonna be toxic?
Nah, bro.
No.
Z tier.
Oh,
Z
it's
tier.
actually still S tier as champions. Yeah.
Careful
Riven is
now,
completely
careful.
broken still, yeah.
I'm gonna just put these in like alphabetical order, just like it's not gonna be ranked. Like, oh yeah, Bard's not the number one S tier champion, but I can't be bothered putting like ranking them in their own tiers because they all can fluctuate depending on if you're taking a Diamond 1 character or an Iron 4 player, right?
Cosmic Ballsack is offended.
Yeah.
You put Ezreal in B tier?
Yep.
Are you
have
sure?
to,
Are you
you
sure?
have to hit skill shots, man.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily weak.
He's very skill dependent.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes him a coin flip. What do you mean?
Wait. You said to make from iron to diamond. Why you put GP on Z tier?
Yes,
GP is
GP.
Bro,
Yes,
GP is
somebody
easy.
Because-
You don't even need to hit barrels on GP at some point. Like you just press
Yeah.
Q on them and auto attack them once with true damage and they die.
Literally low elo, nobody also knows how to dodge those barrels.
Yeah,
or
and they
hit
don't
them.
know how to like target prior them, so you probably can stand around for 3 seconds and still be able to like land something at some point.
I think Hecarim is like B or E right now.
Nah,
like
S
it
tier.
should be
He has
tier.
he has a Black Cleaver build, which is really strong right now.
So strong.
Yes. But let's
Yep.
see what you build.
Graves is still S
I
tier.
guess it's Heimerdinger
I-
support, right?
Nah.
Yeah,
A
Humdinger
tier.
support is S tier.
It's either
S,
S or A
S,
tier.
S.
Yes, yeah.
Fuck that champion. Ivor. Yeah, it's
The
broken.
I think John is S tier.
Yeah.
Still.
Jarvan is ZRS.
Hard to tell. I would say actually A.
No,
maybe
Jarvan is not
maybe
s-
scrapping S tier because of the buff, but I'm not convinced.
Also, it's bot meta. Don't forget.
Tomato, you can hold control and scroll wheel a little bit to scroll back.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you zoom out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just adjusting the recording so it doesn't show the ads, by the way, so that's why.
Let's get to that.
Jin
dude.
S tier.
A tier.
Jinx A tier. Kaisa S tier. Callista E tier. Karma.
Z
Because of
A,
Radiant
A.
Virtue nerfs, I will put her S tier. Otherwise, I would have put her Z tier.
Okay.
Karthus not that strong. He might get
Yeah, I
too
think-
strong right now, but I don't think he's too
solid
strong.
B.
I think as AD carry most of the cases.
Like
Yeah,
the-
but Karthus is not.
I think she's C.
Who?
I would
Katarina,
think
she has no buff.
Kyle would be an S tier since the buffs, because AP, Kyle, it's more better than AD. Right
I'll put her in
now.
S tier,
Kayle.
but
Kayle, not
It's
Kyle.
just barely. Just
yeah,
barely.
I think so as well. Kane,
B.
I'm
Good-
gonna
We
put him
don't
in
really
A tier.
know.
Just
good
because
game.
like they buffed him for low elo as well, but just because people don't know how to pick which form anyway, so if you pick wrong form, like let's say you pick blue form, you're less punished now because they buffed it.
I think a
So-
good kid is like S and a bad is like B or A.
Yeah, so that's where it's like it's between B or A anyway. Canon C actually. Kha'Zix A, Kindred. Actually, Kindred is like it's between A or B. I'm gonna put it B here.
Led.
Clyde S tier, Kog'Maw.
When Vamaris plays it, it's B. When
I think
everybody else
Kog'Maw
plays
is
it,
B or
it's
C,
A.
yeah.
I'm gonna move Ashe to A tier actually as a support.
LeBlanc still S, hard S.
S, no, you're
A
crazy.
tier. Oh, come on. A tier.
QW, just QW, that's all you have to
Yeah,
do.
but her farming is so bad that even if you're 5-0, you're gonna be the same gold income as a regular Victor player.
Actually.
So like,
I think
I generally don't want to put her higher than like C at most.
Okay. Your call. Listen, worst.
Yeah, I think B is fine. Leona S tier. What do you think, Kenna?
yeah, I think that's fine.
Bork Leona Z tier. Trust.
Uh,
You want
Lulu is always ST.
Yeah.
I would call Lux.
Wait.
It's
Let's
I
see
would
here.
go A.
What's Lux? Is Lux support or mid lane?
Support 100%.
You sure?
Yeah, support. Support, yeah.
support
Listen.
nobody plays Lux mid, what do you mean?
Put all
Let's
the
see
ranks
here.
again.
All ranks. 1 and 2. For all ranks.
Lux
play
players
rate.
have no balls to play it mid.
Yeah. Okay.
they
It's
play support.
it's
Yeah,
definitely
they're
support.
4
Okay.
times more.
Okay, it's for support. Gotcha. In that case, would
A
actually
tier,
put
A
her
tier.
S tier. No, like I do think that Lux
It-
is like, even if like you don't actually build support, she's one of the better AP supports.
Yeah,
Like I would rather have a
extremely
Lux
safe.
than a Vel'Koz, for example. So
Extremely safe unless you're retarded.
yeah, and her skill shots are also very easy to hit. So
Yeah.
I think
Unless you're retarded like every Lux player. Or what?
I think we're preparing a spot like D or E for Kiana right now. Not gonna lie.
I think
Maokai,
Maokai is
C.
still
Yeah, still C.
Yeah.
S to
She's going
E. S tier.
Mastahi.
I'm gonna go
Master?
out on a whim and say that Misfortune is now Z tier because
Yep.
of the overhill buffs.
Yep.
oh yeah,
Obviously, you need to still take it, but like I do think that was the small tick that she needed to go from S to Z tier. Very underrated champion together with Tristana.
yeah, absolutely.
Morgana. I think S tier, especially since they like buffed a lot of melee supports, making it that she should make a comeback.
I think AP Nami is S tier, but nobody knows how to build her.
Yeah, I think Nami is just way too unironically difficult to position with, even though her positioning is not difficult at all. People still don't know how to properly position, and that's like, she's just gonna get killed too many times into stuff like Nautilus nowadays. SSA,
Easy win.
S.
Majora's.
Asus with
Wait,
Overkill,
where's Nico most played? Is it mid?
Mid.
Mid.
I can double check, but
Yeah,
I'm
double
gonna
check,
say
but I'll say Nico top, B tier, Nico support, S tier, but Nico mid is A tier in my opinion.
mid 42% Nico played mid.
Nyla, nobody plays her, but she's really good actually.
B tier at least.
I think B is fair.
I think B
Yeah.
is fair as well, yeah. Nocturne. Unironically, I think I'll go out on a whim again and say S tier. Or Z tier, I
What?
mean. Because of the XP changes.
Oh
XP
So you
changes,
get to level 6
Omar
sooner.
was buffed, less
Yeah,
patch.
so like I do think that Nocturne can be Z tier. I think it's not the highest of Z tiers, but I do think he's one of the underrated Z tier champions.
No?
I think it's Olaf top, right? More than jungle.
Yeah.
Let me check.
Yep. Oriana.
Oh yeah,
A tier.
definitely top. There's like
Yeah,
no way to go.
90% top.
Yeah.
Whoa, why 8 tier? What the fuck?
That's it just is what it is, man.
Oh,
But
I'm
it's only
offended.
good
I'm
thing that you
offended.
saw with QW.
Pike is B tier.
I mean, just put Poppy in D. Nobody knows how to play her properly.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she's just like she has a playstyle that's just very almost one trick reliant. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
that. Like you need to know when and where to use it.
Literally just position, but then again,
I mean, you have your W for movement speed, so it's not that
You
hard.
have to be a
yeah,
hardcore
you don't
walker.
use your W for movement. Holy shit.
Yes.
God, no.
If he
Ramos
doesn't have
City.
any dashes,
Esther.
S tier, Ramos?
If the enemy team doesn't have any dashes,
You don't pick Poppy.
Full stop.
Simple, yep.
still S tier. Even though the Tarnel buffs, it's still S tier.
Is I'm considering Z tier, but again, if you just blind like Z tier is basically like you can blind pick all of
Yep,
these.
you
And
cannot
I don't
ban
think
pick
I
Ramos.
don't think you can blind pick Rammus just
No,
because
you-
if the enemies just draft full AP, you're gonna be kind of useless. So that's the only reason. Rek'Sai
Below diamond, C at most, I think.
Guys, where is Tryndamere ZT right now?
No.
I'm
No,
guessing
I would put him in S tier for this ranking,
Yep.
but Rel, nobody plays her. It's
Yeah,
kind of
like,
hard to tell. I would
Rel-
unironically think one tricks
No.
are S tier.
Yeah.
One
yeah,
tricks
I
are
would say
S tier,
that.
but nobody
would say
plays
that.
Rel.
No matter the elo, if you know how Rel works, it's S tier 100%.
Yeah, but
That does.
again, nobody knows how to play her, play against her, and play with her, which is the main thing keeping her down. So
Yeah.
I have to put her in C tier.
But I just played with Rel and I went on a 9-game winning streak. She's actually really strong.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Renekton, the full AD assassin build with Power Score and 1 top potential.
Yeah, but then again,
No.
that relies that you position well, and I
No,
I
but
don't
only
think-
this version. But only this version is S tier. The Bruiser Renekton is shit.
The Bruiser Renekton is less valuable, but there's also a tank Renekton build with like
Ooh.
that just plays for team. That's pretty
With-
decent. But then
With
again,
what do you build?
like, Rel has the same problem as most off-meta supports. Nobody has fucking any idea what to do with her.
True.
again, if you're one tricking, sure. Put
Yes.
Z tier.
the
Z tier.
Z or S tier depending
Z,
on how well
yeah.
you're.
Yes, but are you one tricking? No.
No, exactly. So Rumble, I'd say B tier is
D.
fine.
Yes. A what?
I want to
I'm
put him
pretty
in
Sure,
A tier.
Rise is a.
Yeah,
Rise support or mid?
Rise.
There are literally 2 people ever who play Rise support. Yeah, Rise is still 49% win rate, so broken as fuck.
True.
Yes.
Fena with the buff for one tricks, A tier. Otherwise, I think B
Yep.
tier. Seraphine, A tier.
Yep.
Set, A tier.
Yeah.
F.
Shaco, I will put Shaco in S tier because there's this
But
new AD Shaco build that's kind of really
Yeah, but
strong,
I mean,
which is
as you said
Duskblade,
earlier,
Essence Reaver.
you
and
said
I-
from iron to diamond, bro.
Yeah,
yes,
but
but
Shaco can take over any elo.
also Shaco is the one trick about champ. Like you're either a psychopath or you don't play him.
Where do we have Kane normally? Kane is under
I
A
think
tier,
we put
A
him
tier.
A
in.
tier.
A tier. He's an A tier.
I guess I think that's fine. We have Rast and S tier and then normal Kane both in A tier. Shen
Z tier.
C tier, Z tier.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
A.
Shyvana.
D or A.
Let me think. I haven't seen a Shyvana, but because of the XP changes, I have to put A tier. Otherwise, I would have put B tier.
I also think Shyvana AD build completely underappreciated right now. It
With
could be
Bork.
super strong. It's super strong on paper, at least.
Yeah.
You mean like with Bork and Frostfire, or
But
Yeah.
why do you put
Yeah.
Skarner on S?
Why I put
Mark?
Skarner on S tier? Black Cleaver.
because
build.
Skarner mains are racist?
Yeah.
Black Cleaver, Jack Show, and Sterex, I think.
Skarner.
Bro, Skarner is like
Sterex,
actually
okay.
unkillable if you build him correctly.
Also, Shyvana can go Black Cleaver too.
Yeah.
On that
Yeah.
note.
Soraka, together with Fona, Swain.
You're working full tank, right? On
Whoops.
Skarner.
And
Black
you can
Cleaver
even
into
make
tank.
him- you
I'm
can
not sure if
even
I
make
like
him a
accidentally
top laner.
dragged someone into the wrong thing here,
The
but it's
Swain.
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's
A tier?
Silas. Yeah,
Wait,
no,
what?
he's not an
It's
F tier. No, no,
F-
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
scrolling up so I can actually see the tiers. So Silas S tier, I think. Yeah.
Well,
You can zoom out more with control and mouse wheel. It's fine.
Nice.
Beautiful. Okay,
go.
Syndra.
Stacking
S
champion,
tier.
Nasus.
Wolf, Barak Dog.
Tarek. Nobody
A tier.
plays this.
I
Nobody
think
plays this.
Tarek is AOS. I
Yeah.
think he's still super strong support
Yeah,
wise.
but nobody plays him and nobody knows how to use his ult.
True.
Tarek is good only against melee supports, most of the cases.
Yeah.
Most.
With his current kit, I don't think so. I think he can, unless it's very long range like
Yeah.
Lux, I think he's fine, regardless.
This is one where I have issues placing him.
Yeah, literally nobody plays him.
Because Twisted Fate is one of these champions where if he's good, it's Z tier. But if he doesn't roam or he doesn't like look for anything, he's just a useless stun bot.
Ace in B then.
In
So-
this season completely, I have never seen Twisted Fate.
Yeah.
They Twitch.
AD or AP Twitch? Well, I guess Canna, is it support or AD carry Twitch? That's mostly
Let me
played.
see.
Do we space white or not?
No, it's AP.
I would say it's probably AP support.
Wow, that's close. AD carry popularity, 39.6, support 38.8.
Okay, I guess we rate both, but I would say AD Twitch S tier, AP Twitch probably Z tier, but in general, I think he's at the line where he's blind pickable.
Let me see items.
And Twitch with always godlike.
1k HP shield. Let's go.
Yes.
I'm looking at this and AD Twitch, 3 items, 59% win rate. AP Twitch 57%. So yeah, AD is significantly stronger.
Yeah, it's also like, again, in lower ranks, you'll more reliably get to your like items on AD Twitch as well. So I think both are Z tier, actually, like both AD and AP Twitch are Z tier. I think AD Twitch is
Focus.
harder to play, but
But yeah, maybe
Yeah.
place it A tier maybe? The AD one?
the
Because you
AD
need to
one-
know how to kite. You need to know how to kite a bit.
do you though?
Space white.
Because you
Yeah,
need to you need to know how to kite less on Twitch than you would need on something like a Caitlyn.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm
Space
saying
what?
that is his ult makes you outrange all of them. So if you just press R with 3 items on Twitch and you just right click after coming out of invisibility, by the way. So the enemies can't even like try to like know where you were to begin with. So you can just right click on them, and by the time they get in range to you, you've already killed them by standing still. So I don't think you need kiting on AD Twitch actually.
You don't need to be playing everything black. You can just listen to I'm a blue.
Yeah, I'm blue. That would do that.
Yes.
I think everyone's overrating Udyr. I think Udyr is one of these very. When he pops off, he's unkillable, but when he doesn't, he's just there. So
Yeah,
for that reason, I'll put him in S
All
tier.
he needs, it's just like Jack Shaw with demonic, legit, and he can run you down with Ionians
Yeah.
even. A tier.
A tier.
Yeah,
sure?
legit. Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
mean, Black Cleaver
So-
is really strong right now, but yeah,
Black
I
Cleaver is
guess we
strong,
do.
but the meta is not for us. You
I
know
think
how
in-
easy it's kiteable, the Urgot, yeah?
Varus in low elo is really underplayed, I think. Like legit, it's underplayed.
Vex, I would put S tier actually.
Vex and S tier.
Yeah.
I
I
Oh,
think that's fair.
guess.
S tier,
Yeah.
S tier.
I am
I don't think
considering
I've
putting
ever
Victor
seen a
in
Vex
Z
do
tier.
much of anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like she's very similar to like she needs to be fed. Like yeah, she has some utility, but she never really has this one shot potential unless she's fed.
That's why she
So-
has a strong early game.
Yeah, but I don't think people know how to use it right. And again, she's a little bit matchup dependent with her damage. So
Fair enough.
it's on the verge of
Into
S
melee,
tier,
it's like
but
S tier, into range, it's A tier, so yeah. Most of the cases.
into melee it's
Oh.
S tier, yeah, into range it's A tier, basically.
Yeah. So Vex has better farming than push than most.
I will put Victor up here. I
Oops.
think Victor is even in low elo very brain dead to play. So
Yeah.
why
Z tier. Z tier.
C tier? Yes, I agree. Vlad B tier. I just haven't seen a Vlad do well in a while.
Elite.
Volibear's very sad.
It's like Elite exists.
Yeah, that's 100 billion% CT.
You have low Zai.
You lost Zaya somewhat.
Yeah.
Zai is an 8 tier. Zai is an 8 tier below Ezreal.
There we go. Zerath, where is
See?
He's
Vel'Koz?
lost
See?
significant. I think Zerath lost a significant amount of presence.
Yeah, no,
with
I just looked for Vel'Koz and put him one higher because I think he's the better version of
Yeah.
Vel'Koz.
Yeah, right now is definitely.
I was about to put him S, but I think A tier is more accurate.
Actually good since the new buffs. You can hit your power spike faster.
Your gold man.
Yorick
Best
S.
easy. I still
Just
think
because
yes. No?
Zach.
After the nerfs.
That's what I'm saying. Like just because of the nerfs, I want to bump him down to S.
Yeah.
But I still think he is on the
Zach
verge
has
of
nerfs?
C tier. Yeah, slight AP ratio nerfs.
Oh, well, they're not
That's the-
significant though. You mean the AP ratios?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not that significant though.
Yeah, no, but
People
they're
are-
enough to like pull him out of Z tier. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. Again, the
Yeah,
choice
the
is not.
W nerf is quite big.
Yeah, the E nerf does nothing realistically.
Yeah.
Ziggs, B, Cillian, A, Zoe, S, but nobody plays
Why
her.
is Zillion no name?
Zyra, I'm unsure, honestly. I'm
Yeah.
A
really
tier.
big.
A tier.
I don't think A tier.
I mean, she's beginner friendly. Plus,
No, she's not. God, no, not in current meta.
No.
She's normally
My
beginner
experience of
friendly.
Zyra is like, hey, I win lane, and then mid game comes and I do like bad ults and die and do nothing the rest of the game.
Yeah. She is
Just
not beginner friendly right now
screenshot
with the meta
this.
being what it is.
I think we missed like Cassante and like some of the newer champions aren't in here, but most of them are.
I think you only missed Cassante.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Cassante would be around Probably
Sector A.
C or B actually. Like he got
Really?
quite heavily nerfed this patch.
Oh, I didn't see those.
And again,
Okay.
for low elo,
mean-
he was already at most A tier.
I mean, to be fair,
They just end.
those
Every
are deserved.
Constante just ends. It's like Riven in low elo.
Let me just, do I put it in general chat or where do I put it? Because again, we did rate like all champions.
Oh, can you not put it in the classroom chat?
I could, but I want to put him in a text chat actually.
Let's put it just in
Uh,
the other one and pin it on top. If you remember.
Put it in everyone and pin it on top.
let's see. I thought you could put it in classifieds.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. 13.2 tier list for Iron. Oh. There we go. And that's it for this class. Again, if you do have any objections to any of the placements, let me know. Like any like egregious. If it's just one tier, I don't want to hear it. I don't. But if it's like something like, oh shit, no, Olaf is actually D tier, then I want to hear it. Or like, oh no, Poppy is actually Z tier.
Where's Jenna at?
Yeah, I mean,
Janna is an S tier.
Janna is a
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, the one trickable champs like Poppy and Riven are always a big question mark.
The only one champion
Yeah.
I can think of right now, like 3 that I would maybe consider could look for a big change. Oh shit, I just realized Aatrox was being pulled
I
down.
mean, I'd say Rel and Riven for starters.
Yeah, so Rel, Riven, Poppy, and you could consider something like Fizz, and even a
You
Rel
put
Soul, but I'm pretty
Katarina
sure.
in C.
Yeah.
In my experience, every single game that I have a Katarina mid, she goes like 15-0, takes
Low
over the
elo?
entire game, and nobody can stop her.
Yeah, but that's because Katarina is just a low elo champ. Besides low elo,
Yeah.
like
No, I think she actually is more oppressive in like mid to like slow mid high elo, because again in low elo, yeah, she'll take over the game, but then again all it takes is for your team to have a Malzahar and then she'll jump in like she always did, and then the Malzahar says no no no, and then your team collapses, the AD carry gets a 1k shutdown, she does it again, that's 2,000 gold, and at that point she can't kill the AD carry no more, and then the game's over. And then she's gonna blame her team.
The biggest thing against Katarina is one guy realizing to hold a CC.
Yeah, like it doesn't even need to be targeted CC most of the time, because Katarina is not going to be good enough to dodge everything. But yeah, I'll